Hello.
To quote my 2-year-old, "Ha!"
Apparently, we can no longer stream on the Twitters because we don't have a verified account, and I'm not paying for that. So y'all can watch us on
Oh,
YouTube.
interesting.
I'll
Oh yeah, I didn't.
link.
I didn't update my card information, so we can figure that out later.
Well, no, it's not that. It's the premium account on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, Elon's not getting a dime from me.
Nope.
I will die on that hill.
And the hill that FSU sucks.
Well, initially I thought that would be a bigger hill. I've been told I'm biased. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mike Norvell got us, and then us Florida fans have tried to point out that when you recruit like shit out of the high school ranks, yes, you killed it in the portal before everybody else caught on. Awesome job. However, your window slammed shut when all of those dudes left, and you were left with what you had actually brought in from high school, and it was garbage. So yeah, good. It was a good weekend for Ethan.
It's not recruiting season. It's football season. What are you talking about?
Hey, I mean, that's true. Step one. It's a multi-step process.
It's a multi-step process. So before we start into games, I saw the new A&M commercial came out, and I watched it because it makes me happy. They said we stand on loyalty, and then who did they show? Jace Lavalette and Hayden Schott, who both play baseball for A&M. And I was like, that's not a coincidence.
Subtle hint there.
This shit's not a coincidence. You won't convince me otherwise.
That's good.
It's like, good job, guys. Whoever made the commercial, you win. But all right, Sydney, are you gonna beat Arkansas Pine Bluff?
We better. Yeah,
I might rage quit.
That's always a blowout, a major one. But yeah, I'll be there. It'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to have football back and see how the new Razorbacks gel.
I'm not gonna say anything. It's not KJ anymore, so it'll be better, right?
Yep. An actual leader that doesn't. I shouldn't say anything else. That doesn't upset his O linemen.
What did you steal their food or something?
I don't know. Something just went on between those groups, but now we have Taylor Green who transferred from Boise State, and him and the offensive line do everything together. So hopefully they'll be protecting him a lot better than the old O-line protected old KJ.
Well, I mean,
which wasn't well.
It didn't have.
Well, I think a lot of that too falls on KJ. I think a lot of it was KJ trying to bounce around, extend plays, and all. Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward both do the same thing to where they kind of sit in the pocket forever, and it's like, bro, throw the ball, or Anthony Richardson would do the same thing. You're just throw the ball or run. You've stood in the pocket for 5 seconds. Your offensive line is going to hate you if you take a sack here, and then they take a sack, and you're like, oh my god, why?
He's got Malzahn's problem now, so
yeah.
Enjoy UCF.
Somebody posted something about what's his name from that played at Auburn. Oh my god, what is his name that they always? Oh, I just went blank now. That they always said was going to win the Heisman and never did. He never did anything. He went to Oregon. Bo Nix. Yeah, he's apparently the starter for some NFL team. They said, "Oh my god, he might win the Heisman now."
The Broncos. Terrible quarterback room.
I was like, oh no, oh no. That's just
didn't Jarrett Stidham also go to Auburn?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess Denver just likes quarterbacks who have played in orange and blue.
Yep. They do.
Denver is just.
Did you see Jarrett Stidham's quote about when they named Bo Nix to
start?
God, him and Ryan Tannehill have to be the two biggest babies in the NFL. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan's an Aggie. We like him.
okay, I actually didn't until that quote about when they drafted Malik Willis and he basically said it's not my job to
Yeah.
coach him or whatever. That's such a just a shit comment. Like, and
Mhm.
like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, like it's definitely not exclusive to those guys. But anytime I hear about that, it just immediately is like, okay, you're a garbage
It is
teammate.
your
Like,
job, actually.
yeah, like it doesn't. It's just come on. You're in a team. You're getting paid $50 million a year, and you're really saying you can't help somebody get better. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gonna take your job and you have to retire with $300 million? Bro, that's so unfair to you. You're right. You should have been an asshole so you could get 320 million. That's on me.
Can we talk about CeeDee Lamb's contract for a second?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
jeez.
yeah.
It's absurd. And we still have to pay Dak Prescott, so there's that.
I thought y'all just extended Dak.
I don't think so.
I thought he got like 4 year, 160 million or something like that.
Dak Prescott contract. I might have missed it.
But I think this will be year 3 of that contract, so he's up for a new one anyways. But
Right.
Yeah, I think I haven't done.
I thought he was playing under a new contract. But see what's happened.
Projecting Dak's Prescott
since he got paid.
Yeah.
Lamar got paid, Joe Burrow got paid, Herbert got paid, like every other quarterback in the NFL got paid. So he's like, okay, well, you know what's better than $40 million a year? $50 million a year.
Most of it guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. No one needs that much money. You just don't. Like, I don't.
I mean, yeah.
Holding out for a big contract.
I'll take it if he doesn't want it.
I don't get it.
You know, let's shift to the purer version of football, to where everybody's an amateur and nobody's getting paid, and nobody's holding out for extra money. Let's go to Pee Wee football, because all of that shit's happening in high school football, in college football, Canadian football, Australian football. It's all about the money now. We're in the death throes of the capitalist heat death.
I love it.
Yeah, that's where this is the downward spiral when athletes are making $150 million a year after the next CBA comes out, because Pepsi, has to spend $10 billion in advertising somewhere. Anyways, so I want to ask you guys a question. Who has been the biggest addition through the portal for your team, and who was the biggest loss for your team in the portal?
Oh, God. I'm trying to think of who we all lost.
That's hard, because with losses comes like drama and rumors and like.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's addition by subtraction, though, right? Like, we had a few players like that, to where you hear the rumors, and I'll start, and this is obviously going to sound like sour grapes or whatever. Supposedly after the Utah game last year, Trevor Etienne said that he wasn't going to play unless he got a bigger NIL deal. Never ended up actually sitting out, so I don't know if we gave him more money or if it was just an internet rumor or what. But he's clearly our biggest loss. Like, I mean, Princely's the only other one that I'm kind of like, he's up there, but he was to me, that's definitely an addition by subtraction. Etienne was just a loss. And then I would say the biggest addition for us, I would probably say like Asa Turner, the safety we got from Washington. I don't think that he's going to be like an All-American or anything. So Etienne, he's this guy. He likes to drink, and then he likes to drive. And that's part of what I've heard is actually initiation ritual for. Yeah, I've actually heard that's the initiation ritual for Georgia football, but I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Nice.
It's football season. We're back. I think that our safety room has just been so bad for at least 4 years now that having somebody a vet come in there, I think that's gonna be our biggest addition.
Our biggest addition, I don't know how to, I never pronounce his last name correctly. It starts with an S. Nick, he came from Purdue.
Scourton.
That guy.
Nick.
Yeah.
I don't say it.
NIC.
But he's a
There's
Brian.
no K. There's no. It's just Nick. NIC. It's like Bic, but with an N.
Yeah, he's a Brian kid. Grew up in college. Grew up around the program. So getting him back is a huge deal. I'd say the biggest loss that I don't care about is Walter Nolan. Like, I don't care.
Oh, really? I mean, not Evan Stewart.
No. Again, it's the rumors and all that shit. No.
Oh, true. Fair.
No. We got Moose, and I like Moose Muhammad a lot, even though he's wide receiver 4 on the depth.
I was about to say, I saw the depth chart that came out, and I was surprised to see him down the depth chart a little bit.
Apparently, though, according
to chonker right there.
That's a cat.
No, I know. Yeah, it's a chonky cat.
Yes. No, according to the rumors from last year, Rebel, he doesn't put us forth as much effort as everybody else does. I don't know how true that is, but that was the rumor of why he got pushed so far down the depth chart last year. But I don't know what the thing is this year. He's got his sleeves though, guys, so we're good.
Okay, good.
I think the obvious answer for us would be at quarterback would be Taylor Green, coming from Boise State. Obviously KJ's left, and our true backup, I guess, ended up leaving when we brought in Taylor, so he's all we got there, kind of.
Yeah.
But a not so obvious answer, I would say either we've added so many O linemen that I hope are good, and then we have a running back from Utah, Jaquindon Jackson, and he's supposed to be really good.
I watched him play the past 2 years against Florida, and he can definitely go head to head with any SEC linebackers or anything.
Yeah.
He's a good one. He's definitely a beast. Yeah, I could see Marvin Jones. You guys didn't really. That's kind of you guys didn't really lose anything. It's kind of Georgia really only added. I mean, Marvin Jones being your 4th string defensive end. Good problems to have, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we actually Florida actually had a pretty big trade with A&M this year with you guys taking our linebacker coach and our D-line coach and 2 defensive players from us. Maybe 3. Did Jalen Kimbrough? I don't remember. But yeah, you have.
I don't remember that name.
You guys have fun. They were all of them were really good at Florida. We were all really sad to see those guys leave. Sarcasm, by the way. They all suck.
He's being sarcastic.
Jay Bateman is the only one that anybody was like, damn, I wish he would have stayed. But no, Scooby Williams is on the field for you. Don't let his name fool you. Do not get lured into thinking that Scooby Williams is going to be some crime-solving ace on the field. No.
Christ.
He sucks. We had one of the worst defensive in the country last year, and he was the worst player on our defense. Yeah, good luck. He's a linebacker that can't tackle. Jaden Hill's pretty good though. Jaden Hill, I don't know who you guys had playing nickelback, but Jaden Hill's pretty solid.
Well, I saw the depth chart. I'm gonna pull it back up because I want to look at it again. But let's see. I know that. What was I gonna say? The Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner. Excited. Also, the fact that Notre Dame is starting 3 freshmen on the offensive line. I'm like, I love this game. This is always fun. Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I'm worried about the A&M defensive line in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, on paper it looks terrifying. But I mean, that's not even trying to like ruffle fat, but honestly, A&M has looked terrifying on paper for the past like 3 or 4 years, and it really hasn't materialized. So, on paper, the defensive line in particular, even with Walter Nolan leaving, Nick Scourton, Cassius Howell, the Shamars, like you guys have some studs out there. But again, it's new defense, new coaches. You never know how everything's going to come together until you see it on the field, and but just looking at it on paper, yeah, your D line. I mean, really, Florida's going to get tested right out the gate because I mean, we go to Miami, who has studs all over their D line. Then we have an easy game. Then we go to A&M. Then we go to Tennessee. So it's like 3 pretty brutal defensive lines in the first 4 weeks of the season. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm gonna be looking for when I watch your game is to see how your D line actually looks because on paper I don't know. We'll see if Notre Dame can handle it or not. I think that'll be a big difference maker in that game.
I've heard DJ Hicks is apparently really, really good. So there's that too. And I'm very
And you have that one guy, Tuanume Pepe.
Yeah, that one. I'm looking at his name right now.
He's literally the only person on your depth chart who didn't have his first name included because his last name is like 15 letters long.
I love it.
It's just Tuanume or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm sure that's what it is.
No, it's definitely Pepe.
It definitely is. It's Taumanupepe. There you go. That's how you spell that.
Let's call him Pepe.
I'm gonna choke now. It's fine. Tyreek Chappelle is back, and I don't know how to feel about that because he was in the portal and then he wasn't in the portal and then he was not on the team and then he was on the team, and I'm like, are you here? What is happening right now? I don't know if I trust you. Also, he hasn't been that great, so there's that too. Like in past games, he's a junior, I think. No, he's a senior. And I'm like, so you've been playing for 4 years, and what have you done to be listed as a starter, a possible starter in 2 positions? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Also, what are we doing? But I trust Mike Elko. That's all I've got. I'm hoping.
Are you excited for the Mike Elko era?
I am because like he's a defensive-minded coach, and we're not like, oh, he's a quarterback whisperer or anything. Like we're not dealing with all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We're just dealing with a guy that loves the program, a guy that knows the program, a guy that's been successful with our defense before. So like I can't be upset. And he seems like a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
But defense wasn't really even your guys' problem.
No, it never was. Until last year.
Yeah.
But that's because Kirk is an idiot.
Isn't it, don't you guys have Colin Klein as your offensive coordinator? I'm interested to see. I feel like Kansas State always had mobile quarterbacks, and I don't think Wegman really has that mobility. And I don't know. If I were an A&M fan, I would hold my breath every time I watched Connor Wegman pull like his own read or something because he just gets hurt every year. And so it's like yeah, like that's pretty much what happened to us a couple of years ago with Anthony Richardson. It's like every time he takes the ball, you're just like, oh God, please just go out of bat. Like don't hurt your shoulder here, man. Because if you get injured,
we're fucked.
We have nobody else on our roster that can play quarterback.
See. We have Jalen Richardson
I think he's a good
Henderson, not Richardson.
I forgot about Jalen Richardson. Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. No, Henderson. And Marcel Reed, who hopefully ate something, because I don't know if you ever saw him. I don't know if you watched any of our bowl game, but that kid needs a cupcake. He's like this big around. And I was like, I don't understand how you play football. Like they're gonna break you in 2. It's not a good idea.
There was a kid that played for FSU a few years ago. His name was James Blackman, and I think he was like 6'4", like 170.
That's crazy.
And he was their starting quarterback, right? And I think this was at the end of the Jimbo era, and so they were pretty bad. and you would watch their games, and this poor kid was just getting ragdolled all over the field. And I think he got injured, and like, I mean, you can definitely tell when somebody's 170 out there on a football field running into a 280-pound lineman, and you're like, well, that's what happens.
Well, I mean, he didn't do horribly in the bowl game for the fact that he literally was thrown into it not expecting to play at all. And then they're like, hey, by the way, Jalen's hurt. Have fun. And we had no O-line and no anything. And they're like, here you go. It'll be fine. It was not fine. It was not fine. We still almost won that game, and I'm going to hold on to that. Because the fact that we almost won that game and we were ass, like, we're going to take it. That was Faisal's first introduction to me watching me watch football. I don't know if he's okay with it or not.
I was telling somebody earlier, like, my wife's introduction to watching football. Well, it wasn't her introduction, but it's her first real hardcore memory was the 2014 Missouri game when the Florida crowd was chanting "Fire Muschamp" in the middle of homecoming because
Love it.
he was in the midst of coaching the second of 2 games ever. Okay, in the history of the NCAA, there have been 2 games where a team has held their opponent to under 100 yards and lost. Both times were by Will Muschamp when he coached at Florida. I shit you. Missouri beat us like 45-10 or something and did not have 100 yards of offense. Do you know how fucking miserable that is to watch as a fan? Like, they're not doing anything, but they return a pick six, they return a fumble, they return a kickoff, they return a punt, and you're just sitting there the whole time, and you're like, this is bullshit. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, come on.
I don't like this. He's going to Kyle Field.
Yeah, and then like my wife hears them chanting "Fire Muschamp." Oh, sorry. I think my connection sucks. Do I sound okay?
It does, but we're dealing with it.
Why didn't you guys say something?
Because it's funny.
We're going to have to redo this. The audio is going to be awful. This is a podcast. The audio is going to be awful?
The audio's fine.
The audio
just like die for a minute and then you come back and it's normal.
Okay, I might turn my camera off then. Let me see.
Oh, we don't
see if
Ethan's face?
Just trust me, it's the exact same as it was.
No, I'm taking Faisal to College Station for the McNeese game. So I don't think he's prepared for how hot it's going to be.
Oh.
And the fact that it's I told him, because we were looking at seats, and I said, we're going to sit in the 100s. And he goes, isn't it more expensive? And I said, do you want to walk up the ramps? Because I don't. And he's like, are there ramps? And I'm like, yes. A lot of them.
A lot of them.
And they just keep going.
Yeah.
There used to be a kinesiology class at A&M. You could run the ramps at Kyle Field.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
that's wrong. Y'all are horrible for that.
Yeah.
I think they called that not a good idea after a couple semesters.
I'm concerned about the heat Thursday. I'm really not looking forward to it. We're having a brutal week.
Yeah.
But
it's hot, y'all.
It is hot.
All I know is last week it was 105, right? And my kids are like, how come we're not going out to recess? And I'm like, it's 105. Sit down. Like, stop.
Yeah.
No. And I'm friends with a couple of my parents from last year on Facebook, and one of them was like, yeah, my kid came home complaining that first grade didn't go outside. And I'm like, tell her that kindergarten didn't go outside either, so she ain't I want to go back to kindergarten. They went outside. And we're like, no, we didn't. So chill.
You know, I really hate people trying to gaslight me into thinking that it was always this hot. As if like I'm just senile and I don't remember 20 years ago when it was not in fact this hot. Like I mean I was 13. Like I was old enough to know what hot was and know how to read a thermometer and knew that it wasn't fucking 105 degrees outside the entire summer. Like I remember going outside to be able to play and not feel like you were gonna die. Like that was a good time.
That was good. Hell, I remember 10 years ago it wasn't this hot. Like it's just horrible. And I grew up in Texas my whole life, and I'm still insulted every single year by how hot it gets.
Same, dude. I've lived in Florida my entire life, and every year I walk out, and it's like it's usually around April. There will be a day to where you walk out, and it's humid, and it's like 82 degrees in like early April, and you're like, "Fuck! I still live in Florida. Oh man, this is gonna be awful, right?" Like there's just and then it just gets hot, and then it just stays hot for 5 more months, and then the cycle repeats, and every year for 33 years now, it's a cycle. I'm like, wow, it's still hot as hell here. That's crazy. Like,
It's not
what?
changing.
Nothing changed, but it's just hotter. Uh,
Nothing
so
changed. Don't get it.
let's segue back. So before we pick games, I got one more question I want to ask y'all. So
Okay,
we
I'm
asked about newcomers. Who is, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, homegrown talent? Somebody who's been in the system for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. Maybe hasn't broken out yet, but has shown flashes. Who on your squads are you looking at to maybe make that jump this year?
Noah Thomas. Noah Thomas. Please, dear God, Noah. He's like Mike Evans, size wise, like height wise, and then like Josh Reynolds with his hands. And I'm like, I love you. Please do good things. Dear God, please help me. Help me help you. Make all the monies.
It's a tough one. Like I want to shoot to our wide receivers, but like all of our wide receivers are like sophomores. Like they
I
were
mean,
here
it could be a
last year.
sophomore. So I mean, for me, Napier's this is only his third year. So my guy, like, I'm gonna be probably a second or third year pick as well. I haven't really. You go first because I'm still thinking about mine.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
I thought about the question, but I didn't think about the answer.
I think I'm gonna say Luke Haas. He or Haas. I always forget which one it is.
Okay.
He's tight end. He broke his clavicle during the A&M game last year. He's having
yeah.
a super good year, like insane.
I remember him.
Yeah.
We're real sad.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be 100%. So I hope he has a really good year.
I remember when he went down. I was at that game. I remember when he went down, and we were all like, because the lady behind us was like, they're trying to get timeouts, and I'm like, he's not moving.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's not moving. And she's like, oh, is he not? And I'm like, dude, we're right here by the field. You can see.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to hit her. That's it. I'm done.
Dude, people at games it can be so obnoxious. I feel you. I'm gonna say for Florida, Justice Boone, which is maybe a little bit of. So he's actually like a 5th-year guy, I think. But he was expected to be sort of our number one rush edge along with Princely last year, and then he tore his ACL in fall camp and missed the whole year. So now he is going to be that number one guy. He's like a senior, super senior, redshirt senior, something like that. But I think that we need him to really ball out and get like 8 to 12 sacks for us to really take a step forward as a defense.
I am really like, speaking of ACLs and injuries, Ruben Owens makes me really sad.
Yeah, that was rough.
I mean, it makes me feel good that besides that, we're relatively healthy going into Notre Dame on Saturday. But like losing Ruben hurts a lot. Not because we don't have backup running backs. We have EJ Smith, we have Le'Veon Moss, and Amari Daniels. Like, we're going to be fine. But Ruben is Ruben. He's good.
Yeah. Man, you know how crazy it's going to be if EJ Smith scores a touchdown in the swamp?
I know. I would love it. It would make me so happy.
I would not be happy, but it would be crazy to see. What about Arkansas, Shelby or Sydney? Anybody Any major injuries on your end?
Not really. One of our offensive linemen is having like back problems, but other than that, I think we're pretty healthy going in to game one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I
You're the
think
only
this
one
is.
that doesn't have a decent game for game one.
Yeah, I know. It's
Like,
been fun though. It's been fun watching Florida and Texas A&M go against some like decent teams.
oh yeah, this is there is an argument on A&M Twitter right now as if we should rush the field if we win. And I'm like, guys, let's worry about winning first. And then we can discuss.
It's all about the vibes.
Like, y'all
Never rush the field. I am old. That's one of my. I'm not gonna rant about
old
it.
man yells at cloud.
Yeah, I know. I've ranted about this on like 5 different podcasts with you guys. I'm not gonna do it this time. Never rush the field. It's cringe.
Old man yells at cloud.
Old man yells at cloud. That's my yes. That's my stance.
I feel like it's fun to do it like maybe once in a blue moon. But if you're doing it every like time it's a big game, y'all, it's not fun anymore. It's just not fun anymore.
I feel like you have to be like if it's like an App State over Michigan, or like if you're a 45-point underdog and you manage to pull off the win, okay, I can maybe see you rushing the field there, sure. I feel like if it's a conference game, so to me, if it's a conference game, you guys should be close enough in quality, talent, whatever, that you should never be in that position. That you're going to be that big of an underdog that the win is so unexpected that you have to rush the field. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just spoiled. To me, when Florida State rushed the field against a 6-5 Florida a couple of years ago, I mean, at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, come on. Like, you guys were favored to beat us by 2 you guys didn't even cover, and you rushed the field? Like, what?
Okay, this is my question because I saw it on Twitter and I talked to my sister about it. Loudest moment that you've ever experienced at your stadium?
That's a good one.
There were so many when I was younger that I can't like remember like those games. But like recently, that I can remember very, very clearly was when we beat Texas.
Yep.
In 2021. There's like there's that game was on like one of the ESPN networks, whatever, and they had a broadcast where like there were no commentators. Like it was only like the field noise, and it was like so crazy loud. And it was so cool. Like one of our running backs scored a touchdown. I can't remember which one it was. But that touchdown, like as he got closer and closer and closer, it got like so much louder, and you could just hear it over all of the videos. And I think that would be my answer.
I don't think I have a very good answer for this, honestly. At least not one that I think would do it justice. Like I haven't been to a ton of games. I've been to probably 10 games or so in my life. And at least half of those I was super drunk. Like like I honestly I remember going to the games. I remember us winning. I think they were against like shitty teams. But so I'm gonna cheat. I wasn't at this game, but it's the most I remember watching it on TV and noticing how loud it was, and then I've seen the videos. But the Auburn game from 2019, I believe, when LaMichael Pirine broke like a screen pass. It was like an 88-yard touchdown. But like you can hear the crowd like as he breaks through like the D line and linebackers, you hear the crowd start to like, oh, kind of like you were talking about, Sydney. You hear it amp up, and then as he breaks past the last defender, you hear everybody in the stadium just like stand up and start cheering, and it's just like this deafening roar. And then he scores the touchdown. So that again, I know that's cheating. I went to the Arkansas game last year, and I feel like just the whole vibe was pretty solid. There wasn't like one particular moment that I could point to and say like, oh yeah, this is when the place exploded. And then before that, the Missouri game I went to was pretty low key. So I'm gonna have to cheat. And then the other ones were in college, like 10+ years ago. So I don't really know. But yeah, I'm cheating and going with a TV answer.
Here's Mitch's UGA and Archie in 21.
It's a crazy answer because we got blown to pieces that game.
I'll give you the couple that I was there for. The one that we didn't win, that I still to this day don't understand why people got so excited. It was Alabama my sophomore year, I believe. Cullen Gillespie blocked a punt for a safety, and we were down by like 20. And I never in my life have heard Kyle feel that loud. And I was like, guys, we're not winning. We're not even close to winning. And then Tennessee, I believe my sophomore year as well. I think that was the same year that we played UCLA. The 10,000, the 100,000 against UCLA, or 50,000, yeah. Because he said after 50,000, it all sounds the same. So we started chanting 50,000 at their quarterback, and it was great. It was a great time.
I'm hoping for a similar experience against Cam Ward this weekend, because he said that USC, the Coliseum, was the loudest stadium he ever played in. And I think there's probably 10 to 12 SEC stadiums that get way louder than the Coliseum.
Oh, yes.
So I'm hoping that these West Coast softies get to experience SEC stadiums for real.
And then let's see. Oh, the one that I wasn't at would be last time we beat Alabama when Devon A-Chain bounced that big old kickoff return down. They scored, and they brought it within like 3 points or something, and then Devon returned it for a touchdown, and we went back way in front, and Kyle Field lost it, and I was like, I wish I was there.
Yeah,
so much. Yeah. I want it so bad. And my sister was like, I was supposed to be there. And I was like, I know, but you're not. So there. Because someone had stolen her sports pass and pulled tickets with her sports pass before she could. And they couldn't cancel the tickets that somebody else had already pulled.
Oh.
So she didn't get to go. And I was like, I'd be pissed. I'm mad for you.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not that big of a deal. And I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, let's see. So we all know that Arkansas is going to win their game. Let's hope.
We all hope.
If you don't win that game, you might want to go hide.
I will.
Sydney will no longer be on the podcast because
I'm out.
I'm rage quitting. I'm done, guys. Missouri will also beat Murray State on Thursday because, well, they better.
I hope they don't.
She said, I hope they don't. Temple and Oklahoma, also very not exciting. Clemson and Georgia.
Ooh, can't wait for this one.
I'm actually really excited about this one. Who's picking first?
I'm going Georgia.
Clemson.
We know who Mitch is picking, who's watching this right now. Because, well, we know who Mitch is picking. But I'm going to go Georgia. But I wouldn't be upset to see a different outcome.
So, okay, are we going outright or with the spread?
I'm just going outright because spreads, that's too much. Too much thinking for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with 5-year-olds all day. I can't.
Well, that's fair. It's more, I think Clemson. See, my thing is, I think Clemson can beat Georgia outright. However, I know Clemson will not lose to Georgia by more than 13.5 points. So for me, that makes it way easier. But picking outright, okay, I'm sticking with it. Let's go Clemson. Fighting Mikeys.
The fighting Mikeys. Aw. We'll tell Mikey you picked for him. Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt. Well,
Virginia Tech.
I feel like this is a sneaky good game too.
A good game of bad football.
yep.
I mean, yes, yeah. I think Virginia Tech's okay. I think Vandy's bad, but I think Clark Lee's coaching for his job, and I think that his players love him, and I think that he may be able to make something interesting happen. With that said, I'm going Virginia Tech.
Me too. Just because I don't trust Vandy as far as I can throw him, and that's not very far. So, Chattanooga and Tennessee. Man, week 1 is not exciting. Oh,
It's not.
It
for most
it never is.
for most teams. I think Tennessee has to win this game.
Yeah.
Because if not, our friend Matt may rage quit everything. He'd be like, I'm done, guys. Never coming out into the internet again.
Nah, he's a Tennessee fan. Have you ever been on Twitter? Tennessee Twitter is like the most annoying fan base on social media.
Yes.
Maybe besides FSU.
I have seen a Tennessee fan say that A&M Twitter doesn't exist, and then they got attacked, and it was my favorite thing. I was like, just because you're not on it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like, try again, please. Like, I'm not on Vanderbilt Twitter, but I'm sure there's Vandy fans that talk about things. I don't know.
Maybe.
There might be.
I think Vandy is like an actual like psyop operation. Like I don't think Vanderbilt actually exists because I've met one Vanderbilt fan in my entire life, and I'm not sure he was a real person. So like I think maybe this whole thing this is like a Matrix scenario with Vanderbilt.
No Matrix scenario. Miami and Florida. Oh, you know who Ethan's picking?
I'll go Florida.
I'd go Florida.
Let's go.
That'll be nice.
So let me give a quick breakdown of the game
I'm ready.
if you ladies will allow it. So I think that the key to this game is we have Montrell Johnson, who he's been dinged up. We're not sure if he's actually going to play. He's our second team All SEC running back. Like I think he's 5th in active all-time rushing yards in the NCAA. So whether or not he's not going to be 100%, that's a big question mark. But then being able to handle their D-line, they have Ruben Bain and Tyler Barron, who both are going to be problems off the edge. So I think that as long as we're able to protect our quarterback, I think we're going to be able to shred their secondary. I think Florida's going to win 45-28.
Oh,
wow.
He said he's going to win.
We're going to win. I think Cam Ward is going to throw 2 picks, have a fumble. He's had 31 fumbles in 3 years. He, like I said, he likes to hold on to the ball. He likes to dance around, likes to try and make stuff happen. And I think our secondary this year is going to be seasoned, going to be, kind of going back to the homegrown players. The past couple of years, we've had guys on the team who were freshmen and sophomore who were clearly the best. Like Shamar James was clearly our best defensive player. Kelby Collins was right in there with him as a true freshman. Devin Moore, Jakeem Jackson, Jordan Castell was all freshman All-American. So we had all these freshmen, these young guys playing, and it's pretty rough. I don't know how familiar for me, having to see freshmen come in and take their lumps has been pretty painful. It leads to a lot of mistakes and bad games. But, this is the year to where all of you hope with good coaching, which is kind of TBD, and, good play call, all this stuff. But you hope that the first couple of years of learning from their mistakes, by this point, now they're vets. And I think one thing that the past couple of years has shown us is that college football experience is way more valuable than I was initially giving it credit for, because teams like Michigan and Washington and FSU and Alabama even. They were all very veteran teams with a lot of transfers, a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of depth and experience. And I think that as we keep moving away from these COVID super seniors, balancing that is going to be an interesting thing. I feel like we're going to see a lot of like senior or redshirt senior, especially quarterbacks, kind of just be free agents for a year before they then like have like a contract year. And I think that that's going to be kind of a weird variable to watch. And I think that Miami may be sort of the beginning of that with the Cam Ward. But I think that he's vastly overrated, and there's a reason he didn't go to the NFL this year, and that's because he's not going to get drafted because he sucks.
Speaking of turnovers, I just saw on Twitter our friend Rob, who works for A&M Media. There's a tweet going around of like somebody tackling Derrick Henry and said nobody's ever hit Derrick Henry this hard. And somebody said, "Oh, Justin Evans did," and they posted a video of Justin Evans, who played for A&M, hitting Derrick Henry. And that was the same game that Kyle Allen threw like 4 pick sixes. And he literally said, there's so many good parts of this game. It's so hard to pick 6. And I was like, stop!
Got him.
No! Mean. Yeah, Kyle Allen is. Did you see? I don't know if y'all saw. There was a video of Kyle Allen playing quarterback, and they said something that it was somebody else, and he said that friend is black, and that kid is not black. That's Kyle Allen. Thanks again. I'm like, I love community notes on Twitter now.
Yeah, I saw that. Who were they talking about? I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw it.
Who were they talking about? I don't remember his name. I literally went blank on his name now.
Maybe it was Caleb Williams or something, or
no.
it was. Anyways, yeah, I saw that. And it was like, no, that's not him. The person you're talking about is black, and this is Kyle Allen.
And I'm like, oh, is he shitting? Is he fucking up? Because it's probably Kyle. All right. Colorado State and TU. I'm going to refrain from anything else.
Yeah, unfortunate. Texas.
Unfortunate. Okay, I'm done. This is a Horns Down podcast.
Yep.
I don't even think you even heard me earlier. You said if you ladies, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of the game if the ladies will allow it, and I almost said I don't think we get a choice.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I was locked and loaded. I had my stats. I had my talking points. I was ready to go. I took my Zen out, set it aside so that I could be clear.
Like we didn't get a choice. It wasn't an option.
Nope. No, that was just formalities.
All right. So yeah, I think we're all gonna sadly pick TU. Because yeah. Though Colorado State on Twitter is trying. They're trying.
So real quick.
Really.
On CFB 25, me and my roommate from UF, we started this challenge, right? So I took over Colorado State and made my coach Jim McElwain, and he took over Louisiana, made his coach Billy Napier. And we were going to try to see who could get the Florida job first, right? So we play each other, and first week I blow him out, destroy him. So then I go on and play the computer, and I'm thinking we're going to be honorable individuals and keep our loss if one of us loses to the computer. Well, I lose the computer, advance the week, whatever. And then I start to notice that he has Louisiana in like the top 10. And so I'm like, what the hell? How are you beating all these teams? And he's like, oh, I'm just replaying the games. And so he was basically just restarting the games. If he ever lost, he would just replay them until he won. And I'm like,
okay, but how? I can't figure out how to do that.
You just back out. If you're in the middle of the game and you're losing, just hit return to hub. And then it takes you back to the play game.
I turned off my Xbox once, and then it put me right back in the game.
Yeah, that quick resume, man. I had that happen in a game where I was like, there was like 5 seconds left, and I turned my Xbox off and went to bed. And then the next morning when I woke up, I turned it back on and started the game. And then when I hit resume, I forgot that there was only 5 seconds left, so the game ended, and then I lost.
Yeah.
And then I lost.
And then I lost.
Yeah.
Mitch says that his sister-in-law works for marketing for Colorado.
Hey, Mountain West gang.
Go Rams.
All right. Old Dominion in South Carolina. I couldn't tell you where Old Dominion is.
Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh, there you go.
My wife lived there, so she has a bunch of friends who go to ODU. And for that reason, I'm picking Old Dominion to cover. I don't care if you guys are. I don't care. You guys don't have to do the spread. I'm picking them to cover. Spread's all I care about. Minus 21. Give me the 21 points. South Carolina is going to be real bad this year. Shane Beamer is going to be the first SEC coach fired.
Oh my God. Wow.
He said, I don't like Shane Beamer. No swag.
I'm not confident in their quarterback, but I think Rocket Sanders was a really good pickup for them from us. They've really put him into really good shape. So I think he's going to have a really good year, but I don't think their quarterback can do much.
Who even is their quarterback?
Lenora Sellers.
Yeah, I didn't need to know that.
I just started working with South Carolina a couple weeks
Here we
ago.
go.
So now I know all these South Carolina facts.
Y'all bookmark this. After the Vanderbilt game, Shane Beamer will be fired.
Are they going to lose to Vandy?
They're going to lose to Vandy. They're going to go into Vandy at 2-6. All right, listen to the schedule. All right, so they got ODU. All right, maybe they pull that game out. I don't think they beat them by 21. Maybe they pull it out. Then they get Kentucky, LSU, Akron, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Out of those teams, you see what, 2 wins?
That stretch right there sounds like our stretch last year.
Exactly. I remember doing the preview show with you and being like, holy shit, if you guys make it through this stretch with like even 1 win, you're going to feel pretty lucky. And then I think the only win you got was against Florida in like that whole stretch.
Yep.
Go figure.
Go figure.
But you know, so they'd be going into Vandy at 2-6, pretty realistically, maybe even worse, 1-7. Like maybe they pull an upset over one of those teams, but they go, you know, they have Ole Miss in Columbia, and then they go at Alabama, at Oklahoma, and then they get A&M at home. So like, at least they get 2 home games out of it. But I'm just saying, you look at the schedule and it's like, maybe if they don't beat Kentucky, like Kentucky's really the only conference game in that stretch that you're like, okay, I feel pretty good about, you know. And then they still have Missouri and Clemson to finish the season out. That's just up to the Vandy game, right? That's pretty rough. That's pretty brutal.
Honestly,
that is.
I know Game Day Warrior will tell me that they are like diehard fans. When I went to South Carolina, we played them. They scored on the very first play. I'm not kidding. And the South Carolina fan sitting right next to us goes, don't worry, we'll still lose. I said, okay. So obviously you don't care that much. And she's like, yeah, I don't. I just know we're going to lose. I said, all right. Cool. Oh, this one's for you, Ethan.
So to answer your question, Mitch, Billy Napier will be extended after he beats Georgia this year. So kind of the inverse of what you're expecting there. Yeah, Billy Napier for president.
Oh God.
No, but again, I'm not gonna. This is a pretty easy year for me going in. Like last year, I was kind of stressed. This year's pretty easy for me because for me, it's just put up or shut up. Like it's real easy at this point. It's like either win these games, like not it. I'm not expecting anybody to go undefeated, right? But you better fucking win some games or just shit or get off the pot. So for me, I'm going in this season real relaxed. I already got to see FSU lose. I get to start the season with Miami. It's gonna be win or lose, put up or shut up. Like it's like whatever, just play the game. And then I don't have to worry about either one of those schools for the rest of the year. So I had an FSU fan. The first week, FSU was ranked number 25 in the country 2 years ago, right? First time they were ranked in like 4.5 years. I had an FSU fan message me that I haven't talked to in 7 years talking about where y'all. And I'm like, dude, Florida had been ranked like 3-4 years in a row at that point in the top 10. And then FSU finally gets ranked. And then, see, I need a whole show dedicated to talking about how much I hate FSU.
I can
I don't know
Texas
how
for
I even got back on this topic. We were talking about the SEC, and that's somehow I got talking about how much I hate FSU. Damn, not a
Mitch says,
chance. We don't even play a hard team until Georgia.
"Hey now,
Okay. We play some hard teams, but the first half of our schedule is much easier than the last half. Like,
that's fair."
I think that, again, it's put up or shut up time for me. If we beat Miami, I think we're going to be fired up. I think we're going to have a lot of momentum. Then we get Samford, and then we get A&M. So it's like, okay, we get a chance to start off hot. Like, we get A&M in the swamp, so like we have home field advantage in our two hardest games. Even, a win's a win. Do we win by 1 point? Do we win by 10? Do we win by 17? Like we're going to beat Miami? Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I think we have a chance to be like 6-1 going into Georgia. Like that doesn't mean that we don't finish the season 6-6 like we did last year. When we went in 5-2. But we'll see. I'm excited. It's football season. Let's go.
There you go. EKU and Mississippi State. Again, not fun.
No.
So no one cares. Let's see.
Tickets as low as $6.
Mississippi State, but I would expect EKU to cover low key. I don't even know what
I couldn't tell you enough about Mississippi
25
State.
and a half.
Yeah, I would expect EKU to cover.
EKU's a pretty solid FCS team. Did y'all see Montana State and
Oh yeah, my Lobos.
New Mexico? Yeah.
Last 10 seconds, man. Tough.
How do you have two defensive touchdowns and then still end up losing the game after being up by 14, 13, something like that?
31-14.
Yeah, 17. Something
Going
like that.
into the fourth quarter.
He's bitter.
That was a rough. I mean, I was an unbiased observer, and that was rough to watch for Brock Oman and all.
So brutal for Bronco.
Bronco needs to lay off the steroids, though. If you talk to him, tell him that like he's that dude is yoked. Like, is there
Hey
another?
Bronco, lay off the roids. Dash Ethan.
Sincerely yours, Ethan. I hope this finds you well.
I'm literally crying now. Like my eyes are all watery from laughing, and I can't do this anymore. All right, I'm trying to find a game that's actually going to be exciting. I think our A&M's is the last exciting one on the list until we get to Sunday. Because, like, you got Furman and Ole Miss, WKU and Alabama, Alabama A&M and Auburn, and Southern Miss and Kentucky. Like,
on to Sunday.
Like, tell me, I don't care. I don't care.
You want to do the rest of the SEC and then pick like some of the ranked games?
Okay, so I'll let y'all pick Notre Dame and A&M, and then we'll do the Sunday game. Yeah. And then we'll talk about the other big games.
I think there's only a couple.
Yeah.
I'm going A&M.
Thanks and gig 'em.
I just don't. I don't know. I just don't believe in Notre Dame after watching them put 9 players on the field against Ohio State. Like I know I don't have a lot of room to talk. That happened to us on a couple of extra points. It's happened to we haven't had 11 people on the field a few times. It's kind of embarrassing. But at least it was special teams and not defense, right? Like it's one thing to have like 14 players on the field, but to let them run the last 2 plays of the game with fewer than 11 players on defense is seems like you're going to choke. And I think that might be a scenario where it comes down to the last minute, and I think Marcus Freeman chokes.
I think Notre Dame has a good quarterback, or at least a decent quarterback, but they don't have the offensive line because we know that a bunch of people got hurt. And I believe in our defense as of right now. So we'll see where I am this time next week.
Yeah.
But right now, I am a firm believer of beating Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'll go A&M too, but I do think it'll be a good game to watch.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch it for sure.
When is that game?
Like, I'm not just excited to watch it because like it's A&M. I'm excited because it's going to be a decent game.
It's at 6:30 Sydney.
Yeah, 7:30 my time, I think, right?
7:30.
Well, I'm Central.
Oh yeah, no, 6:30. You're right.
I put these all on Eastern because that's what was on the list, and I didn't feel like changing them.
Gotcha.
USC and LSU on Sunday.
LSU.
I'm going USC.
You're so wild.
I do not believe in Garrett Nussmeier at all.
The Nuss Bus?
Like they got Blake Baker from Missouri, and I think he's a really good DC. And they got what's his name, Davis from Texas to be their D line coach. Like they really went all out on a fucking big boy coaching staff. Like that LSU coaching staff is legit.
Yeah.
I think they just lost too much. Like I think it's just, and I don't believe in Garrett Nussmeier. Like I don't understand where the hype comes from. Like he's rode the bench. Go ahead.
I don't either, but I believe in their receivers and their offensive line.
They do. Will Campbell and who's the Hurd? Emory Jones. That's Hurd's the guy that went to Tennessee. But yeah, no, Will Campbell's a monster. But I don't know. I think that LSU is going to be overrated a little bit this year. They're going to be taking a bit of a step back, and I think USC, they're finally going to be rid of the Caleb Williams show, and I think we're going to be able to get back to Oklahoma Lincoln Riley offense. Fair. I know that sounds ridiculous to say you're getting rid of the number one pick, but I feel like Caleb Williams. I agree. Yeah, it's almost like Luka, right? Like he demands so much volume. Like he holds the ball for so long making plays. Like you have to put so much trust in him. He has to be the guy at all points. And if he's ever off, you're fucked. And I feel like now going back to when Oklahoma had, Joe Mixon and they had this run of quarterbacks to where I feel like we're going to get more of that. Like, is Miller Moss Baker Mayfield? No. But, can he be good enough in the Lincoln Riley offense to win them some games? Yeah. And I think Zachariah Branch is one of the more exciting players in the country. And I think that I think USC is going to be an exciting team to watch this year. Who you got, Shelby?
To go USC because I don't like LSU. Sorry about that. But I don't know. I'm going to go USC because I don't like LSU. I don't like them.
I'm going to go LSU because I don't like USC.
There you go.
I don't like either one of these teams, but I'm more indifferent towards USC than I am LSU. So.
Rooting for an earthquake.
Yeah.
Literally how I feel watching Texas OU.
All right. So let's hit a couple of the bigger games, do some quick picks. And so let's see, Penn State and West Virginia.
Penn State and West Virginia. Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State. I just clobbered West Virginia before I got on this podcast.
Sydney said, so if I can be West Virginia.
If I can be West Virginia, Penn State can be West Virginia.
Oh
who's your team, Sydney? Arkansas?
No, I just started a random dynasty with UCF.
Hell yeah. I'm doing one with ECU right now, and it's been pretty fun. I've played that game way too much.
I've got one with App State too.
Nice.
I accidentally took that job. And I've been there for a while now.
Meh.
I
have feelings.
I forgot. That was whoops.
You forgot. Okay.
I didn't forget.
No, he didn't forget. Don't let him lie to you.
That looks like pretty much it. Yeah. So Colorado and North Dakota State. I think that's I'm going North Dakota State for the upset.
Please let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, in very limited sample size, the football gods have been kind to me. So I'm hoping that they continue to be kind to me. Just like I said in the group chat, you go back and look every 17 years, just like the cicada, we have to have a truly random and chaotic college football season. And if you go back and look, 2007 is the most recent example of that. Arguably the craziest, most insano college football season of all time. We're due. The same group of teams have been. Nick Saban is no longer here, right? Guess what year?
Dead, dude. What?
Guess what year was Nick Saban's first year at Alabama? 2007.
I'm still stuck on he's no longer here.
He's
I
no
thought his
longer in
first
college
year at
football.
Alabama was 2008.
No, 08 is when he lost to Florida in the SEC championship game. And then 09 is when they beat Florida and then won their first. But 07 is his first year. They went 6-6. He lost to Louisiana Monroe. Like it was that was 07 was his first year. So that's the chaotic year, right? So Nick Saban comes in during this time of great turmoil, much like a harbinger of doom. He takes over college football, right? And now he retires. And in his wake, you have this whole trail of people who are trying to fill this vacuum that was created by his dominance, right? So for the first time in our adult lives, Nick Saban is not controlling college football. And it happens to coincide with the 17-year rule for chaos. Buckle up. This year is going to be crazy.
You should call into a radio show and explain that. Like that sounded like one of those bizarre like radio show guys.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Right, should I call 104.3?
Call David.
Yeah, call David and tell him that Sydney told me to call
sent
in.
you.
Yeah, Sydney sent me, and man, so I didn't sign up for their
crazy.
fantasy football league this year, and I got a notification that it was like David Hayes has removed you from this group, and I was like, damn, Dave, you didn't even message me or nothing, man. No, I wouldn't have signed up for fantasy football anyways, but you could have at least said something to me before you kicked me out of the group chat.
God.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not invited anymore.
It was fun though. I got to go to Dave and Buster's and draft with them. It was a good time, but
Nice.
I'm in too many leagues. I couldn't do it this year.
I can't do fantasy football. I'd get too into it, and I would never get anything done.
They also roasted the fuck out of me because I proposed at last year's draft. I was like, hey, why don't we use Sleeper for this? And then they looked at me and they're like, well, we are an ESPN radio station. And I'm like, oh, whoops. Like, yep, that does make a lot of sense that you're not going to use your competitor's product, huh? Yeah, I guess I'm pretty stupid. Yeah.
That would work. So the good people of the internet, we will be back next Wednesday, and Wednesday will be our day going forward, mostly, hopefully. Because y'all know we ain't consistent for anything. Mm-hmm. But we're going to try.
It really just depends, I think, to all of our teams getting off to good starts. I think that as long as our teams remain good, our energy remains good. Once the energy starts to dip, and I think, it's why it's been pretty easy for the Georgia folks lately to pump out content. It's a lot easier to talk about wins than losses, but
speaking of wins and losses, did y'all see Florida State put out a 10-minute cinematic recap of a loss?
No.
They just put it out on Twitter like right before we started. And I was like, y'all literally just put out a 10-minute video for a game you lost? Like what?
So y'all know Florida State has an actual clown college, right? I'm dead ass serious. You can actually major in like circusry or some shit. But they had it was like the largest circus tent in like the Southeast or in Florida or something. It was a huge circus tent. And one of the hurricanes in the past couple of years blew the tent over. And that was really the only damage that it did, was it just knocked over this big ass circus tent. And y'all, you would have thought that FSU had been hit by a nuclear bomb with how their fans reacted to this circus tent getting blown over. Like, you would have thought that this was like a historic monument that just could not be replicated with the way that they acted if anybody said anything about their clown school.
I'm dead.
Look it up. It's a real thing.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I don't think I want to get into
Just
this. If I look shit up, then that shit gets put on my Facebook timeline, and I'm trying to
just
that.
Google. Everybody, just Google FSU Clown College.
No, because then I'll get advertisements for the FSU Clown College.
I mean, I think the more the merrier. I think everybody should know about FSU's Clown College.
I already have 2 degrees, okay? I don't need another one. Oh, good Lord. All right, so we will see y'all next week. Hopefully we're all in good moods. So Sydney will be in a good mood.
Hopefully.
Yes, thank you, Mitch, for fact checking this. My parting wisdom to the listeners: FSU is the first ACC team to ever hold sole possession of 17th place. You really hate to see it, you know.
I forgot there were that many teams. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. On that note, I need to go to bed because my brain hurts.
Yeah.
So, we will see y'all the Wednesday. I almost said this time next week. Wednesday next week. Hopefully, Ethan and I will be in good moods. Sydney will be, because if she's not, she won't be here.
Correct.
At least she's honest.
Thanks and gig 'em, y'all.
Woo pig.
Go Gators.